Hello everyone, this is Babamots, and I want to tell you that I am working on putting together the big tournament for this year. This year I'm going to be calling it the Galactic rather than the Great Homeworlds Tournament because, hey, this is a galactic tournament. We'll take anybody in the galaxy at least. The fact that all registrants to this point have been from Earth is neither here nor there. I'm going to skim the rules and then I'm going to talk in a little more depth about the format. So, going to be playing on Board Game Arena. This is the asynchronous tournament. I'm hoping if this goes well, I'm trying some things that are a little different. If this goes well, then I'd like to do a real-time tournament before too long. I've said that before and it didn't work, but we'll see. Um, there will be a link to this in the video description. There's a link to register. I'm not going to collect email addresses this time. You can use Board Game Arena messages to communicate with other players. You can also use Discord if you want, but um, BGA chat is the official communication medium of the tournament. You will need to play multiple games simultaneously. Um, I know that can be hard, but I'm got an idea for a setup that I think will work to keep it from being too owners. We'll get down to that in a minute. Okay, well let's talk about the format now. Um, so here's the plan. I want to mostly run this manually without using BGA's tournament system, but I know that there are going to be some people who will find this tournament who would not find it if we just announce it on Discord and Facebook and places like that. They're only going to find it if we actually create a tournament through the BGA system. So I'm calling that the pre-qualifier. I'm going to make a little tournament that people can join the real tournament through going through this pre-qualifier tournament done through the BGA system. It's mostly just to get their attention, and I consider this to not be the preferred way to join the tournament. But we will take 4 players who qualify that way. I intend for this to be the more difficult way to get through the first group phase. There's going to be probably more games, and you'll have to play faster. For everybody else, there's going to be a sequence of round robin tournaments in which there will be 4 to 5 people in your group. You will play each of them 2 times, once as first player, once as second player. So if you're in a group of 5, then you have 4 opponents that you'll be playing 8 games. And 8 games all at once is pretty tough. I'll talk about how I'm hoping to ameliorate that difficulty in a minute. But 2 players from each group will advance to the next group. So phase 1 will run concurrently with the pre-qualifier, and then the 4 players from the pre-qualifier and 2 players per group of phase 1 will all join together in group phase 2, and we will keep having additional group phases while there are 7 or more people left. 2 players per group will keep coming through, groups of size 4 to 5 throughout. Then when we're down to 7 or fewer players, 2 players per group will advance out of what's left, and we'll have the semifinal, in which there are exactly 2 groups, each of which are size 3 or 4, and the top scoring player out of each of those 2 groups will be the finalist. The 2 finalists will then play pairs of games, once as first player, once as second player, until one of them has a 2-point lead. So I'm opening us up to an infinite loop here, if the players are too equally matched, I suppose. But you know, it's got it'll end eventually, surely, right? So that's the plan. And then the person who first gets a 2-point lead is the winner of the whole tournament. So we can skip most of this. We just talked about it. Okay, so here's, oh, where is it? Well, somewhere in here I talk about it. So you could be required to play up to 8 games at a time for these phases. But you will have sort of a 2 week grace period in which to get your games started before you have to have begun all of your games. You should be able to finish several of your games in 2 weeks, or at least have a good, good start on them. And if you're playing with somebody else who plays fast, then you'll probably be completely done with some games in those 2 weeks. And so in that way, you'll never actually have 8 games at once. Uh, Hopefully, the game speed I'm picking is 2 moves per day. One is pretty darn slow, and I think everybody should be able to handle one. Uh, Two might be hard for some people, but I mean, got to draw the line somewhere, and I don't want the tournament to take completely forever. Um, so at 2 moves per day, you get 12 hours added to your clock every time you make a move. Make one move in the morning, one at night, and your clock will never deplete, um, and the game can be as long as you need it to be. You do need to set it to normal mode because well, these to be ranked games. There are instructions here for how to issue challenges. So somewhere in here it says 2 weeks. Okay, I don't remember where I put the part about you've got 2 weeks to start your games. But once I tell you that the phase has started, you need to fairly promptly. I mean, within 2 weeks, you should have all of your tables started. And this is kind of experimental. I don't know what's going to happen, but if I'm hoping this goes well. Um, just trusting people to keep track of who they are already playing, issue challenges to the other players, and hopefully we don't have too many duplicate tables. I'm hoping we don't have confusion about which games are for the tournament and which games are for other purposes. I'm trusting you guys to keep track of that. Once you have a game started, there's going to be a form. If you played a few years ago, I think 2021 was the last time we had forms. I think we've done BGA. I think we've let BGA take care of that since then. But anyway, we're back to the form method. Just going to do one form this time. I'm going to do some more of the work on this. So just fill out a form to tell me when you've started your game so that I've got a link to the game, and then I will monitor the games, keep track of when they're finished, who won, and I will update a score spreadsheet manually. I used to have all this stuff automated, and it was such a pain to get it working, and there were always kinks in it, and it drove me nuts. So we're going lower tech with hopefully no confusion. Um, Instructions about the different ways that you can open tables and how to do that. 2 moves per day. There's a link to the. Do I have that on here twice? Yes, I have two copies of that. Okay. Um, I know that sometimes people have to withdraw. It's unpleasant for me to see people go, and it kind of messes things up. New system this time is if you have played half of the games for the phase of the tournament that's active, then uh, you your losses do score for your opponents. If you've played fewer than half of your games, then they don't. Um, we've done that. We've been a little more ad hoc about when things score and when they don't in the past. So 50%, that's the new rule. And some details about timeouts there. Um, don't cheat. Be nice to people. Um, if you have telekinetic abilities, don't use those. Um, yeah, and have fun. So registration's open now. Link in the description. Uh, I'll see you there. See you next time.